for them, and you do that 117,000 times every year for 10 years, that philosophy makes a difference in performance. And these are veterans who do this. 3 years ago, we were meeting only 30% of our information technology delivery milestones. So we beefed up our IT operations with qualified veterans, youngsters who are coming back from operations. We also reached out to veteran-owned IT businesses to partner with us. Today, nearly 2/3 of our IT developmental work is done by veterans. Their discipline, team-building skills, leader instincts helped our product delivery group meet nearly 90% of its delivery targets last fiscal year. 3 years ago, we were at 30%. Last year, at 89% of our milestones. And our veterans are very much responsible for that. I'm told the industry average is about 32%. President Obama has encouraged private industry to leverage this kind of talent and experience with tax incentives and salary reimbursements for employers that hire veterans who have been unemployed for more than 6 months, and we're already beginning to see a response to that. This is an important moment in our nation's history. Our troops have returned home from Iraq, and their numbers in Afghanistan are likely to decline over time. The educational opportunities available to veterans can make a huge difference in the future of our nation, certainly in their lives, but also the future of our nation. This post-9/11 GI Bill is the largest student aid package of its kind since the original GI Bill in 1944, which only lasted 12 years. We are into the 3rd year of this one, as a matter of comparison. The historian Milton Greenberg writes that when the original GI Bill expired in 1956, the United States was richer by 450,000 trained engineers, 240,000 accountants, 238,000 teachers, 91,000 scientists, 67,000 doctors, 22,000 dentists, and 1 million other college-educated veterans. Those graduates provided the leadership that catapulted our economy to the world's largest in the years following World War II, and our nation to leader of the free world and victor in the Cold War. Lightning is about to strike a second time. At the end of 2011, we have over 950,000 veterans and eligible family members enrolled in school today. On 1 October 2011, the GI Bill was expanded to include non-college degree programs, on-the-job apprenticeships, correspondence courses, flight training programs, so that veterans who don't want to sit in a college classroom can gain critical work skills that transition military experience into civilian occupations as well. The nation's community colleges have been at the forefront of this new GI Bill, providing high-quality and innovative college courses for some 235,000 veterans and service members, more than 1/3 of all beneficiaries who have come through the program to date. A few examples. Lansing Community College offers a military medic program that puts former medics on the fast track to become civilian paramedics or registered nurses. Cuyahoga Community College has opened a distance learning lab at the Cleveland VA Medical Center to give veterans a head start on their education while still recovering from their injuries. And I know many other community colleges have reached out similarly to veterans, assisting them to access their benefits, excel in school, and land quality jobs following graduation. But I want to ask more of you. I want to ask you to embrace our veteran students. Encourage them to organize themselves. That'll be good for them and good for your schools. Allow them a meeting place where they can gather and peer mentor one another. Most of them haven't been preparing for college for the last several years. They've been focused on preparing for the next mission, and the next mission, and the next mission. which they did every day, living in that crucible that they found themselves in, and they did such a wonderful job. But now they leave a very structured environment with commanders and first sergeants and people telling them where to be and what uniform and when and what pieces of equipment. And they come to your college campuses without any of that. And as a couple of veterans say to me, well, I'm going to spend the first semester finding myself. I say, no, you're not. You're going to go to school, you're going to complete your projects. You can find yourself later. If you don't do this, you won't be there the second semester. The best people at getting Shinseki to get up and go to first hour class every day is Shinseki's buddies. They know him better than any of you. They'll know when he's slipping. They'll know when he's having a hard day. Encourage them to organize themselves. Have them seize this collective responsibility of graduating each other. And they can do it. They've done it before. That's what their missions have been about. They will be superb students and add to the education of your non-veteran students as well as non-veteran faculty members. Track their graduation rates. Let me know how we can better support you. I'm not asking for any gimmies here. They must go to class. They must complete their projects. They know it. I just need your help in transitioning this new generation of veterans from battlefield to college campus. After a year, they'll be off and running on their own, but it's that first transition year that's key. They want an education. Let's ensure they get one. Our country needs them. Now, some of them bear the signature wounds of Iraq and Afghanistan, and I'm getting into a little bit of the undiscussable here, but I talk about it with them. Traumatic brain injury and post-traumatic stress disorder. But such wounds do not stop them from achieving academic success. It didn't stop the rest of us who transitioned off battlefields and went through a college experience. There is a transition. Most every one of us make it, that transition on our own. But they can help one another. They know what's going on, and they know it's transitory, and they learn by helping one another navigate the tough spots. Case in point, Sergeant Evan Cole, United States Army retired. In his application essay to Catholic University in 2009, Evan wrote, and I'll quote here, on September 11, 2001, the World Trade Center and Pentagon were attacked. My best friend and I talked to an Army recruiter right away. And by December, we were both enlisted in the United States Army as tankers. Our parents had a sign for us since we were still only 17. I knew I wanted to eventually go to college, but decided to put it off to serve my country. I figured one of the benefits of joining the GI Bill would help me pay for a school that I otherwise might not be able to afford. So after graduation, I completed basic training and was sent to Germany. In February of 2004, we deployed to Samarra, Iraq. I remember my first combat patrol proudly heading into the city on our tank. I was 19 years old, thinking it was exactly like the photo in the book my dad had given me when I was 7. And I'm thinking one of those photos is probably a World War II photo of columns of GIs going into a European city, being hailed as liberators with flowers and welcome. There were no pictures in that book of what came next. And back to Evan. We were ambushed. 2 roadside bombs and a landmine hit vehicles in which I was patrolling. Halfway through the tour, I accepted the fact I would be going home in a box. It's easy to read by that sentence, but for somebody like me, that sentence jumps out. A 19-year-old American male or female, but in this case a male, doesn't think that way. They are invincible. They don't believe there's anything that can stop them. So when you read in a letter, halfway through the tour, I accepted the fact I'd be going home in a box, that tells you something. There's an adjustment that just happened. And then here's the reality. Then he gets up every day for the next 6 months to complete his tour, doing what he believed was going to send him home in a box. I don't know how much courage, how much more courage we can look for. But the tour finally ended, and I returned to Germany alive, a surprise. We refitted and trained, then deployed to Iraq for a second time to Camp Ramadi in the western Anbar province. Though the violence was nothing compared to the first tour, it only takes one blast. 6 months into the tour, I was serving as a turret gunner on a Humvee when we rode over a roadside bomb. My truck commander and another soldier running up from behind to help us were both killed. I was thrown straight up into the air, flew about 50 feet away from the vehicle before landing with a large piece of the truck on top of me. The initial radio report listed me as killed in action. Once they found me, I was immediately evacuated, eventually to Walter Reed Medical Center here in Washington. I had broken every bone in my right leg, had a piece of it blown off, shattered my knee, cracked and ripped open my pelvis, had shrapnel punched through my left leg, shrapnel through my liver, broken my right arm, left hand, shattered most of my teeth, and had traumatic brain injury. This is 2009. 2 years later, and more than 15 surgeries later, I am ready to start down a new path. I don't regret my decision to join the Army. I'm proud of my service, and I know I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for my friends who were with me in Iraq, and even more than that, if God had not been with me. I made a promise to God and my friends that I would succeed and make something of myself. I can never get my friends back, but I can honor their memory and sacrifice by doing something worthwhile and meaningful with my life. I do have trouble remembering things sometimes. All that means is that I will have to work harder to reach my goals, but I am no stranger to hard work. I managed to succeed at whatever I put my mind to because I absolutely refuse to give up, quit, or fail. I would like the opportunity to study architecture at Catholic University for myself, to fulfill my potential, and to fulfill the promise I made to God and to my friends who never left the combat zone. I hope you'll give me that chance. Signed, Evan Cole. Well, as you might expect, Sergeant Cole's college essay carried the day. He was accepted to enter Catholic University in 2010. He completed his first semester with a 4.0 average. He completed his second semester with a 4.0 average. He continues to excel at the School of Architecture, maintaining a 3.92 cumulative GPA. He married a beautiful lady this past summer. Life is good. And that's no connection between his GPA and getting married. I have no doubt that together they will meet every challenge life thrusts at them. And in William Faulkner's words, not merely endure, but prevail. Given a chance, veterans will prevail as your best students, mature beyond their years and accustomed to working hard to succeed. They work well in teams and with others from diverse backgrounds. Their greatest need in making the transition from combat to classroom is the company of other veterans, men and women like Evan Cole, who know what they've been through. And they'll see by the time they're seniors that they have arranged for the freshmen to have a successful freshman and a sophomore year, and they'll begin that process of graduating themselves. Whenever I have a chance to speak with them, which is quite frequent, I have a one-word speech: graduate. 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 If I sound like Dad, I am Dad. I'm paying most of your bills. And then I tell them if they handle things right, they might get a new car on graduation. You've all been very kind. God bless those who serve and have served in our nation in uniform.